assume no one's ever seen your ad. You just have to get over it and just constantly be marketing. McDonald's could not just quit marketing today, even though they've established such a great brand. And all of a sudden people, like, they're not going to lose market share. They will. Like, if you don't stay top of mind, no matter how successful you've been in the long run, it doesn't matter. They would lose market share.
And the people that say, oh, well, I don't see a billboard and go buy a hamburger. Yes, you do. You just don't know you do.
All right, I'm back with my repeat guest, good buddy, now Tykes boardroom member, Pace Morby. What's up, man?
Bro, I just can't believe we're having a slumber party over here in Miami. This is freaking cool.
We are. We're here for Cardone's event. We were here 3 months ago. It was
one of the best events I've ever been to in my life.
Me too. And I'm not a guy who's just like hyping things up. I'm like, dude, that sucked. That was good. This was super good.
What did you like about that 3 months ago? I looked over at you because you and I sat on other sides of the room, and I would look over at Pineda, and he was like this a couple of times through the 3 days that we were here 3 months ago.
Yeah.
What did you like the most about that?
You know, I don't even take notes on anything I do. I sit there and observe most times, but I had my journal out and I was just taking a bunch of notes, and then I would kind of like think about it, and I was like, wow, I've never thought about whatever he said in that way, or not even him, but just the other people speaking and, you know, the connections we got to make. So I'm like super excited about this, doing it again, because I don't know who's going to be here and what we're going to go through or what we're going to learn. So I'm excited about that. But I would say the biggest thing that stuck out to me that I'm actually shifting in my company is just how he's building out his parent company and trying to acquire businesses and stuff. And that's the route we're going.
Yeah, building a whole ecosphere so when one business survives, but is successful, everything else is successful. I love that. The company culture was insane.
Yeah.
Like watching his team every morning, their huddle. I love that. The second thing I took away from it was he is a completely different person than what you'll ever see on social media.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because now you have him in a long form, you know, environment where he can go through and actually provide context to what he's talking about, but he's a completely different person and his team is insane.
You know what I think about that too is I know you off camera, on camera, we know each other. And I think a reason people enjoy watching our stuff is because we're the same people on and off camera. Whereas like what you just said with Grant, where you're like, man, this guy's like a lunatic on camera, but then he's a completely kind of different, more chill version off camera. And I had him on my podcast recently.
That's phenomenal.
Thank you.
Very good.
And
go watch that, guys. If you haven't freaking watched that, go watch that. It's really good.
But like a lot of people were commenting and they're saying, dude, that's the most like relaxed I've seen him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, because I mean, we're kind of just talking to each other like friends. And that's the way that he is like normally. And it's weird that sometimes he has to go over the top. But I mean, like you have a TV show, so you kind of know like what has to be done.
Yeah. You have to go through the rhythms of being a little over the top and saying things you normally wouldn't say so that it lands with the audience or it tells a story or what have you. And one thing that I'm excited about, 3 months ago, we got in that room. I met maybe 4 or 5 people. I made $1 million between then and now in a new business venture, just getting involved in some other people's stuff. Being in the right rooms is powerful. You brought up Tykes boardroom. Same thing. Like I was so excited to be involved in that. And then you've got Tykes coming up. When is that? 3
Tykes
weeks?
Summit. Yeah, or
2 months.
January 9th. Yep.
January 9th. So you've got some of the freaking coolest people speaking. Yep. I'm excited about Cody.
Yep. Cody's going to be great.
New relationship of mine.
Cody Sanchez.
I'm super excited about her, excited about a bunch of other people that you're having speak. I go to those events and I know I'm going to make money.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to Tykes to make money. Of course, you're going to have me speak, but I'm going there to make money. Hopefully I can become friends with some people there, whether it's in the green room or in the audience. What is the format? Are you guys doing a 3-day event or what are you doing?
So this event's going to be a bit different. It's going to be 4 days, but the first 2 days are like more small, intimate things. And then there's 2 big days. So, you know, on the small, intimate days on January 9th, we've got the board meeting. So everyone in the boardroom, we rented out the Tao nightclub private. It's going to be super dope. Just kind of talk about the future of real estate and how blockchain is going to affect it. Some cool developments and things happening behind the scenes. So like that's the whole mission with Tykes is like pioneer the future of real estate. Then we have a training day for my other company, Content Empire, where we're going to be teaching people how to make content that day. So,
needed, 100% needed.
Yeah, we were just talking about that off camera. And then the next day we've got kind of like our VIP day. They go to my office, they can see everything. And we've got our welcome party. And then the last 2 days are at the event.
So if I buy a ticket for Tykes, I get to go to all of that?
Depending on what ticket you buy, you can get all of it. Yeah, if you get an MVP level ticket, you can get all of it, except the boardroom. The boardroom is only for...
And that's on day one?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll be there, and then I'll be there the other 3 days as well.
Yeah. Dude, you're going to get so much content and collabs.
Bro, I love being in the right rooms with the right people. I told somebody the other day, I've never made money ever in my life. I've never made $1 by myself.
Yeah.
And if you understand that equation, you understand that the faster you meet higher quality people, the faster you'll make a lot more money.
The one thing that I've always admired about you, and I've told you this before, I was like, bro, we don't do nearly enough together. And I put that on me because I think, and Grant said this too about himself. He's like, I'm tired of being a lone wolf and like doing things myself. Like I'm ready to just embrace, partnerships and collabs and all those. And like, even for myself, I've been like, yeah, I can kind of just do my own thing and stay in my own lane in my bubble and, whatever. And I see you on the other side where you're like, hey, who's ready?
I'm collabing with everybody.
Yeah, I'm in. You got a heartbeat? Like, let's go. What can we do together? You know? And I think it's amazing. Even when I asked him like, hey, Pace, you want to speak? You want to join the boardroom? You're like, yeah, just tell me where to do it. You didn't even ask the dates. You didn't ask any of that.
Nope. I just want to be around quality people and do really fun things. Dude, when you don't know this game, right? You don't know real estate. You don't know how to make money at a high level. Remember what it was like when you had no control, you were powerless. Like even when you were in baseball, like the only skill that you had was baseball. Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah. And so you leave baseball, the only thing you can do is go, I'm going to go flip couches.
Didn't know what to do.
You had nothing. You had no other skills besides that. So you feel, I remember going back to my Instagram, my first post I ever made was 13 years ago. And I remember telling myself, I'm going to use my Instagram as a way to journal my life. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm journaling and I remember every time I made a post, what I was thinking, how I felt, what I was going through. My first post is a post where, bro, I felt so helpless. Mm. And what was I missing? Knowing what I know now, what was I missing when I made that post? High quality relationships and skills. That's it. And now you delete everything I have. Delete my bank account, my real estate, delete everything. I have the relationships and I have the skill sets that I've learned from those relationships. I have all the power in the world. Yeah.
And you can go to zero and you'll be fine.
Be fine. And it's the biggest confidence booster is just being around really quality people. And I grew up in the contractor world. Mm-hmm. And so contractors are always pitting against other contractors. It is in the definition. It's like homeowners go get 3 bids. So contractors are constantly knowing they're always being bid against other people. And so there's this wall, this dividing wall where mentally I grew up thinking everybody else is my enemy. And then when I finally learned real estate and I started seeing people like you, I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually become people's friends that are my somewhat competitors. Mm-hmm. And together we actually become stronger.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I've realized about business in general, right? Because coming from the world of sports, it's very much like the world of construction where you're kind of like on your own. And if I don't play well, I'm kind of going to get cut or released or I'm done. And there's nobody that can really help me. Like granted, the team can still win if I don't perform, but still they're going to be looking to get rid of me. Yeah.
And then like same thing when you guys are coming up to the big leagues, right? Like there's a draft. Yep. It's like there's competing against everybody
always
else.
Behind you trying to take your spot.
Right.
And you're trying to take someone else's spot. And it is what it is. There's only one starting spot at that position.
Right.
So it's not like we can go share the spot. It's you or me. And that's like literally how it was raised. And, when I came into business, I started to realize like, man, it's different because I don't have to do it alone. In fact, if I suck at something, somebody else can be good at it and we can do really well together. Whereas in baseball, it's like, dude, if I can't field and I can only hit, I'm kind of limited. Nobody can go field for me. It just is what it is.
Well, if you look at my collaboration with Jamil, which is my longest lasting collaboration, Jamil the reason why our collab works out so well is because he has a skill that I don't have.
Which is?
It's a very weird skill.
Being a genie or what?
In some ways, yes, it is like being a genie.
Okay.
It is not real estate related at all. He has the ability to tell whether somebody's a good person or a bad person immediately. What do they call it? It's like
he's got that motherly instinct or something.
Yes, I don't have that.
Okay. You assume everyone's good.
Everybody's good. And I'm like a puppy dog. Like, let's pet me. Let's hang out. Let's do stuff. And Jamil will say, stay away from that person. They see the way they're doing this. And Jamil's been the guy that has had my back for the last 5 or 6 years. And he's the polar opposite. He's yin and yang.
Yeah.
And so he brings things to the table that I will never in my life ever be able to acquire those skill sets. And so as long as I keep him as close to me as possible, he's navigated me through the jungle like 10 times faster than I could have by myself. And the same thing on my side, when I met Jamil, guess what he had? 0 Instagram posts. Literally, his profile photo was a picture of an owl. And so, so here's what I would do. I would do Instagram stories every day, like 10 times. And
What year was this?
This is 2017. So 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
And I've always done Instagram, even when I was a contractor, before I was ever thinking about branding myself. Again, I wanted to keep it as a journal, right?
Yeah.
So I started tagging Jamil in all these stories, and he'd be like, bro, why do you keep tagging me? And I'm like, well, you can turn the notifications off on your phone, but I suggest you just take those Instagram posts and reshare them, and reshare them. So for the first 2 years Jamil was on Instagram, it was just a reshare of all of my stories. And then he got the mechanics down.
Yeah.
Right. He started going, okay, I understand this. Okay, I'm going to add like a little GIF. I'm going to add a little this. And then all of a sudden he's like, what's next? What are we doing next? So what I brought to the table for Jamil is the storytelling, the ability to market yourself and do all those types of things. And then together we've gone out and now we're dividing and conquering. So he's at one mastermind. I'm at a different mastermind.
Learning each and then coming together.
Bringing resources, relationships, etc. Bro, I was driving here with Cody Sperber. You just did a podcast with him just recently as well. And Sperber goes, this was the most genius thing you guys ever did, was collaborating with each other and growing 10 times faster than you could have on your own.
Well, and yeah, I mean, Cody's another example of a guy who's kind of been a lone wolf.
Yes.
Right. And then he's now seeing the benefits of getting around everyone and opening up, and it's been big. Yeah.
And doing big events like Tykes is one of those amazing pilgrimages that you kind of have to do. Like if you're trying to have influence, be around people with influence, learn what that even means, how that can make you money, you got to make that pilgrimage. You got to come in and like be around the people and the energy. When we were at Grant's thing 3 months ago, I knew that I was going to walk away. I mean, Timbaland was sitting 2 chairs behind me.
Yeah.
Right. It's a different atmosphere, but I didn't know when I left, I would get involved in 2 other people's businesses and literally have made in 3 months $1 million, non-real estate related. And it's just getting around the right people as quickly as you possibly can. I wish I knew this 10 years ago. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I think it just comes down to being open to doing it, but also to being able to provide value, right? Nobody's letting you inside their business. No. You know, the guy you were 5 years ago. No. Right? So it's kind of like the chicken and the egg thing where it's like, how do you get good enough where people are like wanting to have you come on versus, you know, you having to go earn your stripes and. Yeah, like a really good example of that. And I told Jamil today, I was like, Ryan's kind of like a bigger brother that like is ahead of you 10 steps. And that as you're coming up through like, it's like you've already gone to our 9th grade English class. And so when I'm there 3 years later, you're like, hey, watch out. Mrs. Greenwood's going to tell you this, this, and this. You got to watch out for these things. So it's kind of nice to follow in your footsteps. And one of those things very specifically is I've looked up to you for a long time, but also one of my heroes is Minority Mindset. Yeah. Jaspreet, yeah. Right. And you guys are friends because you deserve those. You earned your stripes. I had not at the time. And so a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I wanted to be his friend. I wanted to be in his world. I didn't deserve it yet. I had to go put the work in. I had to get better at storytelling. I had to get better at posting. I had to get better at consistency. I had to get better at so many other things. Right. To the point where I had a big enough audience. We got a TV show. Now I have something to offer. Yeah. But it wasn't that it wasn't in my mind 3 years ago. Right. It was that I knew I didn't deserve it. And instead of me being a baby about it, like, oh, nobody wants to play with me. It's like, nobody wants to play with me for good reason. Get better at what you're doing, get around better people, and then at one point you'll deserve it. And then I sent you a text message. Actually, this is what's cool. I didn't send you a text message.
Oh yeah.
I posted on Instagram stories and I go, I want to know minority mindset. And in 5 minutes, you go, oh, Pace, I know that teacher, Mrs. Greenwood, I've been there. Here's the and you put me in touch with Jaspreet.
Yeah, yep.
And so you have to go through all these things. And then I think the toughest part of all of this, really, when you're building a brand and you're going this direction, is knowing how do you make money from all this stuff, right? Like in your guys' content, your new business that I'm super excited about this because I think somebody should have done this 10 years ago. But with your new company, are you guys showing people not only how to post, but also how to make money from it?
Oh yeah, yeah. So the mission statement is helping entrepreneurs build their personal brand and business on social media. And the goal is to teach them not only how to get views, but turn those views into dollars. So
I think, so here's one of the biggest takeaways I took away from Grant's thing 3 months ago. He says, only 1% of my audience buys a product from me. 99% of people don't. And so you have to give them something to invest in other than a product. And I was like, what does that mean? And for me, it was watching him put these funds together, right? These big real estate funds. It's like, this is what I took from it. I go, 99% of your audience will never buy a product from you because they don't believe in themselves. It's not that they don't believe in Ryan Pineda or Pace Morby. It's they don't believe in themselves to take action on it. But when you put a Pineda fund together, what's your guys' fund called?
Pineda Capital.
So Pineda Capital.
Yep.
Now those 99% of people that don't necessarily trust themselves to go buy something to then have to take action,
right?
They know that Pineda is going to make something happen.
Yeah.
And what Grant said was, the people who invest in Cardone Capital or Pineda Capital, they go home and they pray for you to be successful. I was like, oh my gosh, this is, for people that don't understand why content is so important, it is the modern way to raise capital. So if you want to go buy $100 million in real estate, you have to, like this year we raised $68 million in private money. How do we do that? Not by cold calling people. That's stuff that Wolf of Wall Street did 20, 30 years ago. It's now everything has to go through Instagram, YouTube, et cetera. And I tell people too, like if you don't have a YouTube, I don't think you're credible because I don't think YouTube can be hacked.
No, yeah.
Instagram can be hacked.
Yeah.
You look at somebody with 2 million followers on Instagram, you're like, nope. YouTube, I'm like, verified.
Yeah. No, yeah. And that's the thing too, is I tell people this at Content Empire. I'm like, hey, so, not only is organic traffic going to be great for your business and all this stuff, but if you do start running paid traffic, it's going to amplify it so much because guess what? If nobody's ever heard of Pace Morby, what's the first thing they're going to do?
Google.
They're going to Google, they're going to look up, see if this guy's got any YouTube videos or anything. They're going to see, oh, dude, he's got 100,000 subs. He's doing these live streams. He's got like, okay, cool. I can get behind this guy. And by the time, they see your ad, they're good.
Yep.
So I just don't see a scenario in the world to come where you can get away with not making content because your competitor will, and then you're toast. Like,
you're irresponsible is what you are. You're irresponsible. To me, I tell people, imagine McDonald's trying to sell a hamburger without a single golden arch on their building. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say I'm driving down the freeway from Nevada to Arizona.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hang out at Pineda's studio and I'm hungry. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for the golden arches. I know there's a hamburger I can go buy right there.
Right.
But if you're not branding yourself, you're not posting yourself, you're not doing anything, like, how do I even know what you offer? How do I even know what you have for me to buy? I have no clue how to spend money with you.
Well, and the thing is too, this was something I took away from Grant too. He was like, hey, assume no one's ever seen your ad.
Yeah.
Right. And, I'm doing a big launch for my book coming out.
Yeah.
And,
When?
I'm like, December 13th.
Okay.
So I'm like talking about it every day right now. And it's funny because in my mind, I'm like, everybody's seen it. And then I'm like, you know what? No, they haven't.
They haven't, dude.
Everyone has not seen it. I'm just going to post it nonstop. They haven't
seen it. We have this big meetup going on with DJ Envy and the Breakfast Club on Thursday this week in New Jersey.
Okay.
I've been posting about it every 2 days. And I'm like, it's on my stories and I post it today. Like, I'm so excited about the meetup coming up on Thursday. And people are like, what meetup? I'm like, where have you been for 30 days?
Yeah.
The thing we forget as content creators is that we're on there every day I'm on Instagram probably every day for 15 to 45 minutes. Most people in your world, your audience, they're not on there every day. They might go on there
at all these other, you don't know what the algorithm's feeding them and, whatever. So yeah, I was like, all right, I'm just going to post it. But, long story short, I think that you just have to get over it and just constantly be marketing, because McDonald's could not just quit marketing today, even though they've established such a great brand, right? And all of a sudden people, like, they're not going to lose market share. They will. Like, if you don't stay top of mind, no matter how successful you've been in the long run, it doesn't matter.
That's scary to think that even McDonald's, if they stop marketing, would lose market share. They're the king. Everybody knows McDonald's.
Yep. They would lose market share.
And the people that say, oh, well, I don't see a billboard and go buy a hamburger. Yes, you do. You just don't know you do.
Right.
And it's the same thing with anything, right? If you're a real estate investor and you're trying to raise capital, guess what's going to happen? Beardy Brandon, good friend of both of ours, Beardy Brandon's ad on Instagram is going to push that accredited investor over to his fund versus ours.
Yeah, because he was top of mind.
Top of mind.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with just like every business in general. It's like, I was actually thinking about this the other day. We were just watching the Netflix before this with Zac Efron.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was thinking, man, where has Zac Efron been? Like, you know, he's got like this weird...
he pieced out for like 2 years or something.
Yeah, I'm like, his face looks totally different. Like, everything about him's different. And where's he been? And the fact was, I hadn't thought about Zac Efron for 2 years because he just wasn't out there. And he's a mega A-list celebrity. And you see celebrities like that who all of a sudden they re-show up in a movie. I was watching Netflix again the other day and I saw Lindsay Lohan was in a movie. And I was like, Lindsay Lohan, where has she been? But to the point, when you don't stay top of mind, it does not matter how relevant you are or how famous you are at that very moment. It will go away.
It will go away. And I think the other thing that people really want to consume is they want to consume a product that they actually feel like they're a part of, right? Versus like, oh, I saw McDonald's and I saw their ad. They want to feel like they're part of your world, right? They want to know your wife, your kids, et cetera. They trust you, all those types of things. So people that are out there, I don't care who you are. If you're an insurance agent, you're a bicycle repairman, I don't care what it is, creating funny content or along the lines of whatever it is you're trying to sell.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Same thing with video guys. Like our video guys that they used to work on side projects. Now they're full-time with us, but they talk about filming with us and all of a sudden they're overwhelmed. They're getting calls from Lenovo and HP and like, hey, we saw you on Pace's Instagram. Do you want to come do an HP thing? We'll pay you $12,000. He's like, dude, how did I get so lucky? I'm like, you didn't get lucky. You just put yourself out there. That's it.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this just in general with retirement and working and things like that. You know, somebody might take what I just said and said, man, well, I don't want to do that then. If I have to constantly stay top of mind, like there's no end to it. And the reality is we're kind of fed this lie that, hey, you know, you can work really hard and then, you know, get enough passive income and you can retire. And it's like, no, there's not really that thing of passive income. There's always like maintenance to a degree of there's basically how passive is it?
Yeah, I don't think it really is passive. And then here's the other thing I've realized. Somebody who was able to create the passive income that they desired, 10 grand, 20 grand, $30,000, that type of person that hits that number is a performer. And so what happens, they're somebody who achieves things. They get to 30,000 a month in passive income and they go, okay, what's next? I don't know anybody that just hits $30,000 and goes, okay, I don't have a new goal or I don't have a new thing to.
Yeah.
God did not put you on this earth to learn how to make $30,000 passive income and then just chill.
No.
You acquired skills, confidence, relationships, resources, and all these things along the way to get to that 30,000. Yeah. And now what, you're just going to hold to yourself and be selfish?
Well, I've said this a lot. As a Christian, nowhere in the Bible does it ever say to retire. It's not, you will not find it anywhere.
Interesting.
Like you listen to any of the disciples, any of the people who are following Jesus, they all were preaching and going out there discipling until they died.
Right.
Like, and they're actually killed. Right. So like they're killed for their job of just going out there. Nobody like did enough, got to their level of like, yep, you know, I planted this many churches, I'm good. And then they just retired. It doesn't exist.
It was a lie that was fed to me too. Like when I was 23, 24, people would tell me, once you hit $10,000 a month in passive income, you'll never want to work again. $10,000 a month? Really?
It doesn't get you that far.
It does not get you far at all. In fact, I think 20,000 is the new 10,000. right? There were people like, I want to hit six figures.
I just had Brad Lee on, and he said, we were talking about that 20,000 mark kind of being like where you can actually start really living.
Yeah.
But he was
agree
like,
with that.
when I was growing up, everyone wanted to be a millionaire. And he's like, being a millionaire ain't all that anymore.
No.
And he's like, the way that I envision a millionaire, a super rich person, is like, you better be a billionaire. That's what Brad was saying.
Yeah.
And he's like, but in like the practical side of things, you better be worth at least 10 million, like
right.
to really be wealthy.
Right. And I think also going along with Christian values, right? Like Jesus didn't just go to people and help them and say, okay, keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Like Jesus came to people, helped them, mended their situation, gave them a parable, a story, whatever the thing was, and then said, go tell everybody. Mm-hmm. So your job isn't to just get to a point and then chill. Your job is to get to a point where you are going to retire. But what you're going to do is you're going to retire. Let's say you hit 20,000 or 30,000 a month in passive. You will retire from the worry of how to pay your bills. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, it's like, now the real work really begins. Mm-hmm. How do you change or actually create real change in other people's lives other than just your own?
Yeah. And I guess my point with it is like, even once you get to that 30,000, there is still work into making sure that still makes you 30,000.
Bro, this is what happened. I got to a point where our passive income was over $20,000. And then I go, wait, this isn't very passive. I need to hire like 3 more people to manage this $20,000 passive.
Yeah, now it's 10.
Now it's 10.
Yeah.
And so what I learned is I was like, okay, I need to actually get to like 100,000 to be to a point where I'm at 60, 70,000 because you have to have a team of people for it to truly be 95% passive. Mm-hmm. And even then you still have to have meetings every week. What's going on? Hey, Pace, we have an eviction that's taking 4 months. What do you want to do? Should we file a lawsuit? Blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. That stuff never ends.
Yeah.
Never ends. So if people that are like, well, I just want to own real estate, guys, does not matter. It's always going to be happening.
Real quick, if you haven't heard, my book, The Wealthy Way, is coming out December 13th. I've been working on this book for years and I'm super excited about it. And I want to have a massive launch and I need your help. So here's what we are going to do. You can actually pre-order the book on Amazon right now on the Kindle version. And the best part is that Kindle version is only going to be 99 cents. Now this book is a lot more valuable than 99 cents, but I want to get it in everyone's hands. So you can support by ordering it there right now. Now on December 13th, you can get access to the paperback, you can get access to the Audible and all that good stuff. But that's not all we're doing. If you want to really support and leave a review for the book, I'm actually going to be giving away a free course that I created called Business Builder Academy. This is teaching everyone how to start a business from start to scratch, how to figure out your branding, your products, sales, marketing, everything that I've done to start up all of my businesses. I've put into this academy and I'm gonna give it to you completely free as long as you leave a review on Amazon. So think about it. You can go buy the book for $1, leave a review, and get a course worth thousands. So if you want to support and you want to get access to that, go to wealthywaybook.com, okay? wealthywaybook.com. You'll be able to go pre-order it. You'll be able to submit proof of your review, and you're going to get access to that course. So I appreciate all you guys. Let's have a huge launch for this book and change some lives. Well, and like look at, the market today, right? All these people that were banking on passive income with stocks or crypto or even real estate, and the market just goes into a frenzy everywhere, right? Businesses, laying people off and all this stuff. And it's like, no matter what, and I know that you've experienced this, like for me, it's just like, dude, the more things we got going on, the more problems we have, right? Oh, yeah. And it's just like, how are we going to solve this problem now? All right, this investment looks like crap now. This business sucks
something
now.
I learned from I learned from guys like you. I learned from other guys ahead of us. You actually don't. You go from saying, I want to get rid of all my problems to now you get to a point where I want to solve bigger problems. Mm-hmm. It's a complete different paradigm, right? Yeah. Complete different paradigm is you are now seeking out much larger problems to get much larger checks. Yeah. For me, what happened to me this year is we have a little over 30 Airbnbs in Atlanta, Georgia. Mm. Okay, Atlanta, Georgia got hammered.
Why do you have?
I just have a big student base there, and I buy probably 60% of my deals in Atlanta from my students because they're just so active there.
Got it.
Ton of sub-2 deals in Atlanta and seller finance deals.
Okay.
And I've got a 500 unit multifamily that we're closing this month there as well. My biggest deal ever, $109 million deal.
Wow.
That's a big deal. So Atlanta changes their laws on Airbnbs. You can only have one property per license. Bro, it changed my business. My business overnight, we had to hire a full-time person just to convert our Airbnbs into midterm rentals, and some of them sober living, because we couldn't handle too many midterm rentals on the market all at the same time. That happens in like a week.
Yeah.
A week.
It's crazy.
So the whole market will change. And so people that believe nothing's going to change, I'm going to get my 20,000 and I'm going to chill and like be on a beach, that does not exist.
No.
And my thing back to those people is, how dare you? Like for me, I look at those people and go, you acquired resources, relationships, skills, money, and all this stuff, and you're going to go chill on a beach?
Mm-hmm.
Think about the hundreds of people that could, in your own church or other places, that you could hire people, you could improve other people's lives. It is your responsibility to do more, is my thing.
No, I'm with you 100%. I not only just the way we're wired, like you said, high performers want to accomplish the next task.
What's next?
But yeah, just thinking about that too, like what's the bigger purpose of what you're doing, right? And that's something I've had to think about a lot as, you know, my career has continued to evolve, and I'm like, man, okay, what's the point of starting another business? What's the point of buying more real estate? What's the point of making another video, filming another podcast, right?
Isn't that so funny that you go from like, I need to start another business. I need to buy more real estate. How do I do that? I don't have the secrets. I don't know what I'm doing, to now you're at a point where you go, what's the point of it? So have you figured out the answer?
Yeah. And I actually had, and I've kind of like been navigating the answer and, you know,
figuring it out along the way.
Well, a lot of praying about it, but like, you know, it comes down to so many people have like 5-year plans or whatever goals, right? And they'll say, I want to be a billionaire. I want to be a millionaire, whatever, right? And every time I hear that, I go, why? And, you know, they're just like, well, it's just a goal. And I'm like, that's dumb. Like, what's the reason behind the goal? Because if the goal is to just make X amount of passive income, or like, really, like, what's the true meaning behind why you want to do that? Is it because you want to spend more time with your family? Okay, like that's good. Like I want to know why 20,000 a month is a significant number. Why is being a billionaire a significant thing? And so I've never had a goal like that, literally. And up to this point, I've never cared about what my net worth was. I've never cared for passive income. I've never cared for a certain income level, a certain amount of followers. It's just been like, we would set goals because we have to in a business.
Well, your team needs to know them.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, like this year, let's go for that. Let's go for that. But if you were to ask me, what's the 5-year goal? There is none. And I think it was kind of me just being open to everything, of just like, hey, let me just see where God leads me. And that's where I'm going to go. And at this point now, it's a lot more clear. And I had my business coach, Gary Harper, come and sit down with us.
He's a legend. I was just texting him a couple of days ago.
Yep, like 10 days ago. He's in the Tykes boardroom as well. And, you know, he came to my office for 2 days. He's coming back in December to double check that we're executing everything. But, you know, like one of the things was just defining like my purpose and the company's purpose overall, and figuring out where are we going in 5 years? Like, now that we know what we know, where things stand today, he's like, it's pretty obvious where you're going. He's like, I'll give you my perspective on it as somebody who's watched you for many years, and I see what's, you know, motivates you and drives you. And he's like, look, you know, you're just purpose driven. You don't necessarily care too much about the money, but you know, money is, you know, something that's needed to go solve the purpose. Right. And so for me, I'm passionate about, you know, Christian, you know, just different ventures, whether it's funding churches, whether it's helping Christian entrepreneurs, because they don't really have anyone else to look up to. Whether it's, you know, serving other people just like you, having that servant mentality. I know that, like, for me, I need money to do all those things. And I know that I have influence to go affect the entrepreneurs and, you know, make a change. Cause like, who else will? And in at least that niche,
nobody.
There's not many people. And so it's like, if God's given me that ability, then I would be disobedient not doing it. To the point of, you said, who are you to have all those skills?
How dare you?
Yeah. And that's how I look at it. Of like, if I just go chill and do nothing, and don't maximize the skills and the opportunity that I have, like, how dare me?
Well, I think, so humans get incredibly entitled fast, right? So here's what happens. Like people, it happens in the employee world where you'll hire an employee and they'll go, I'll work for you for free. Well, first off, nobody's working for me for free. You're getting paid, but that's the mentality. Then you work for me. And in 2 months, you haven't done deals or you haven't done whatever, you show up late or whatever it is. It's like, you were the guy that was begging me for an opportunity. Now you're the guy that's taking other people's lunches out of the fridge in the cafeteria.
Other people's opportunities.
And you're showing up late, right? Same thing goes for you and I. Maybe it was when you were couch flipping and it was the only skill set you had besides baseball.
Yep.
Maybe for me, it was when I was a contractor, literally praying and saying, please help me find an opportunity. Please help me find somebody that's going to help me. And then what happens, you get sucked into that world and the busyness of the world blinds you to the fact that you used to pray for the exact situation you're sitting in right now. And now you've made it and you're like, what's the purpose? Well, obviously the purpose is to go find another 1,000 Ryans that need everything that you have, but take that learning curve from 10 years down to a year or 2 years.
Exactly.
Right. And do that for people that have like-minded values, family-oriented, Christian values, that type of stuff. It sounds like that's your purpose.
Yeah, it is. And it's not like I won't help non-Christians or anything.
Right, but there's something that ignites your fire.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and I think too, it's like, and I was just thinking about this for a long time of like, man, do I want to be, just like this Christian influencer and like go down that route? Or do I just want to continue to be an entrepreneur who happens to be Christian, right? And that is the route that I've chosen, but it may not be the route 5 years from now. Like, I don't know, right?
You have to let it evolve.
Yeah, it will evolve however it evolves. But that's part of the story, right? Because you and I, you starting out as a contractor, me starting out as a baseball player and then a couch flipper, we both become these real estate guys. And then you go into this vertical of sub 2 and seller finance. I kind of stay in this vertical of house flipping and social media. And then, now you're coming over to that side of social media and TV. And then now I'm coming into the entrepreneur side and like, embracing that aspect of it.
Right.
It's just like, it's just going to keep evolving. Like it's super hard to say where we'll be 5 years from now. But I think that the purpose of what drives us, if I have to become a whatever guy to serve the bigger purpose of what I want to do, then I'll do it. Like I never wanted to be a social media guy. Like I wasn't on Instagram 10 years ago. Like I did it because I was like, this is what I have to do.
This is the keys to make this work. Yeah. For me, somebody asked me the other day, why are you posting so much? And I go, I'm posting so much so I can get so loud that the 10-year ago version of me can hear me. Like I'm trying to yell so loud at my earlier version of myself, like, bro, shake out of it. There's better ways to make money. There's better relationships to have. I was in bad relationships. I've never drank, I've never smoked. I'm not a partying guy. That's not what I mean by bad relationships or bad environments. I was around people that didn't have the same values as me. And as a contractor, I was taught chase money, chase the bigger job, chase. And I was in bad relationship with people that are running schemes and they ended up filing bankruptcy. I lost a bunch of money. And I'm like, man, I just spent 8 years of my life chasing money, not acquiring skills and building relationships.
But to your point, what's interesting, and this has happened for me too, is when you actually start doing something that you're passionate about and your purpose, a lot of times the money just flows naturally.
Bro,
and so like
it sounds cliche when you hear it, when you don't know that is actually the fruits of the labor and you've never seen that happen.
Well, I've asked you this before too. I'm like, Pace, how the heck we were talking about this. I forget what event we were at. Oh, we were at Growth Video Live, remember? And we were sitting in the back and I was like, Pace, how many hours do you spend like on Facebook Lives and stuff? And you said something crazy to me. It was like 20, 30 hours a week or something.
Yeah, I spend 20 to 30 hours a week on Zoom with my students.
Yeah. And I was like, how do you spend 20 to 30 hours a week?
On top of the TV show, on top of all the businesses we own.
But like the point was, you don't do that because you think it's going to make you more money.
No.
Like you do it because you genuinely love doing it.
Yeah.
And you want to help them. And you literally want to do everything humanly possible for them to win.
Yeah, it keeps me involved in their lives. I know the majority of my students' names, their spouses' names, their kids' names, because I just want to. I don't know why.
Yeah, and
it keeps me from making money if you really think about it.
yeah, you could probably make more money if you.
I would make way more money. There's like calls I miss. I look at my phone when I'm out of a 6-hour Zoom with my students. I'm like, I miss Brad Lee's call. He wants to do a thing. I miss this. I miss this. I miss this. I'm like, okay, well, I'll call them back, and then I never get to call them back because the next morning I'm doing a Zoom at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Like I did a Zoom this morning at 5 a.m. before I flew out here. I was like, oh, Sunday morning, let me get with all my students and do a 4-hour Zoom before I'm supposed to fly out to Miami and hang out with Grant.
Yeah. But to the point, you do it because of your purpose and you love doing it, right? If you didn't love doing it, you wouldn't do it.
No, and
nobody forces you to do it.
It would show up as me not wanting to, it would show up as disingenuous. And then more importantly, like you said, I would literally just not do it.
Well, but even if you were to go to everyone and say, hey guys, I'm just kind of like at this new point in my life, I'm going to be spending less time, but still a lot.
Yeah.
Like people would still be like, I get it. Like,
yeah, go down from 30 hours to 10.
Yeah, like it's okay.
We'll be fine.
Yeah. Nobody's going to be mad at you for, wanting to do that. But the point is, if you just love what you do, you will do it. And it's like, for me, these guys will tell you, I've never missed a week of filming because I'm just like, yo, these are the videos that got to go out.
Right.
It's not that I know I'm going to make all this money when I make the video. I'm just like, these have to go out for the purpose of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, man. Once you're like more clearly defined on your purpose, it makes things easier.
Well, I hope like in the Tykes boardroom, I hope in that meeting, that's January 9th.
Yep.
So January 9th, I hope that I can impart some wisdom to people that are maybe not as far along in their journey as I am.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what everybody else is trying to do, because that is a room full of people trying to do kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different, I guess, niches and verticals of real estate and who's doing what. There's a lot of land guys. Obviously, you're in the creative finance space. There's developers. There's everything. So I think like everyone in there is just looking for opportunity, just like you, of like, hey, what can we do? Like one of my things with that is we got the Tyke Tank, which is like Shark Tank. People can pitch businesses and other things.
When's that?
We're going to launch it here soon.
That's sick.
Yeah.
You going to do that on your YouTube channel?
I might need to. I was going to do it behind the scenes because I'm just like, let's make the money together in the boardroom.
Bro, that needs to be its own freaking YouTube channel. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do it.
So if somebody like January 9th, you've got the boardroom and then you've got 3 days of the event.
Yeah.
And that's going to be in Vegas.
Yep.
Who is the ideal person for going to that event?
I mean, I'll say anyone who's watching this right now. But yeah, I mean, it's anyone in real estate, any investor, entrepreneur, Web3 people. So, like really the focus of the event is if Future Flipper and Sub 2 are about, hey, like how do we get deals today in this current market and how do we, do that? Tykes is about, hey, where are things going to be 5-10 years from now?
Yeah.
How do we start, we don't have to go fully focus on building the next, exchange or whatever's going on, fractionalizing real estate. Like it doesn't need to happen right this moment because this moment isn't ready for it. But how do you start to become aware of it and build and, start acquiring the businesses that are.
And be on the cutting edge.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, why did I miss this? Yeah.
Because if we all knew that, YouTube, if we were thinking about this 5 years ago, right? Or we were thinking about Bitcoin 7-8 years ago.
Right. But there were people that were, and they were in meetings.
And that's what this is.
Right.
Because real estate is going to change dramatically in the next 5 to 10 years, and nobody's preparing for it.
Right.
Except
I love it. Except us. I love it. I'm excited.
if we can get the business that's going to be the leading industry, right? If we have the business that replaces the title companies, or you've got.
That's a big thing for me. So we own title companies, and I know that technology has to change. It has to. It is so antiquated and horrible, especially in the creative finance realm. Like, there's so many amazing things that I can do in creative finance just because paperwork, I can be so creative with it. I mean, we were talking about how my son and the cars and all that kind of stuff are off air. That I feel like that's the number one thing that has to change in real estate. You see Open Door and OfferPad and all these companies coming in and going, we want to remove the agent from the equation. I'm like, I think the thing that's going to be completely disrupted is the way deeds are transferred, the way paperwork is transferred, the way title and escrow services and title insurance and all that kind of stuff is going to completely be disrupted.
That's for sure the first domino.
And it's paperwork. It's doable. Like Web3 and all this stuff, NFTs, all this stuff will 100% disrupt that entire industry. So you look at Fidelity Title, what's the conversation that Fidelity's having behind the scenes?
Well, but like even just think about the real estate process as a whole. Like, why does it take 30 days to get a loan?
Or Jamil just got a loan on his beach house, took 6 months.
Why?
So if you're a lender, it's like, how do you speed up that process? And do you think it's because of the new technology?
A lot of it is paperwork.
Yeah.
I think like most of what takes a loan so long is this guy's underwriting this, then that, then this. It's like, dude, if you have financials ready to go, you get the financials in the system, you get an appraisal, what else is needed, right? How does it take 30 days? Well,
I was a licensed loan officer for a while. And I remember it would sit on an underwriter's desk for 3-4 days before anybody even looked at it.
Right.
And it would sit there because they got a stack of whatever. So technology is gonna disrupt that whole industry. And then the underwriter would come back and go, we're missing this. Mm-hmm. And it would go back and then just start the whole process all over. And you're like, the consumer's like, man, my lender took forever. It's like, well,
you forgot something.
You forgot something, or you omitted something, or you didn't know how to fill it out instead of picking up the phone. So it's on both sides, but the technology will completely disrupt and remove all of that stuff.
Yeah,
and
people AI on the cutting edge of that, just
bro, there's billions to be made in that.
Yeah, so that's billions. The point of Tykes is that we both know that because we're in the industry and we see the inefficiency.
Yeah,
and it's just like whoever solves it wins, and that's how I look at it. I'm like, the tech isn't there yet. But if I'm looking at ways to become a billionaire, right? You can definitely get there owning real estate. And like, it will be a slow grind. Like nobody became a billionaire overnight owning real estate.
No.
Like you'll get there, right?
Yeah.
I know tech billionaires overnight.
Yeah.
I know people who've, like what all these guys, like what Cardone's talking about doing with rolling up all these companies into one company. Like that can get you to $1 billion really quick.
Right.
So that's the way my mind has transitioned. Instead of like solely focusing on real estate deals, like we're always going to do real estate deals. I love real estate.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, how do I go and get these companies? Because I love tech and companies.
Right. I think you look at real estate in my world, it's the foundation of everything that we have. And you're right. I think that for us, we acquired this year 225 million total real estate this year. And obviously there's a lot of debt on that.
Yeah.
But that debt pays off over a certain amount of time. It appreciates. We've got cash flow, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. For sure, there's no doubt in my mind I'll be a billionaire before I die.
Yeah.
But how and why is being a billionaire, going back to what you said, why? My goal was, and still is, my big goal is, how do I turn 100 of my top people, not 100. How do I take 15, maybe 20 of my top people that are with me from today going forward? How do I take them and make them all worth 20, 30, 40 million dollars in the next 10 years? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I got to do a lot more work. I got to do a lot more stuff. I got to get involved in stuff that is faster than real estate, because real estate pays a lot of bills today, makes me a lot of money. But how can I make other people worth 10 million, 20 million dollars? It's got to be with technology that's going to disrupt a title company.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I've been thinking about with now building out my parent company to house everything and acquire the companies. Like, well, at that point you can now start giving people stock. Yes. And they got something to look forward to. And if the company itself becomes worth a lot of money and you've got this stock from the ground up, it's a lot of money to be made.
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. We're telling people that you'll get ownership in all of our multifamily deals. They're on the exact level, but if you're with the company X amount of years, the ownership vests and da. And I clocked it all out and I go, I was way more excited about other people becoming worth $10 million than me becoming a billionaire. Mm-hmm. That was way more fun to me. Mm-hmm. It's like, I got the money. I don't need anything. I want more stuff. I'd love to have every Patek on the planet. I'd love to have 5 yachts and 7 airplanes. I'd love to have all that stuff. But what I have is the same thing you have. Loving wife, amazing kids. I have my health. It's like, okay, now what more can I do? And how can I amplify my reach in helping other people? So I get way more excited saying, I'm going to turn that person into a multi-millionaire because they're helping me build my business.
Yeah, no, I love it. So speaking of wife and kids and balance, and I don't know how you do it, because I watch you and I'm like, this guy's a lunatic. He's waking up at 2:30. He's on set filming his TV show for like 50 hours a week. He's on Zoom calls another 30 hours. I'm like, does this guy have like 48 hours in a day? Like, what is he doing?
I feel like I do. I feel like I get a lot of stuff done, but people ask me all the time, why do you work so hard? And going back to the Instagram post, I remember what I felt like when I had nothing to offer.
Yeah.
And I remember what it felt like when I was like, so my self-esteem was so low because I'm sitting there, I know how to work, but the only skills I have are construction related. So like, what do I really have to offer that other people can't offer? Now I have a lot that I can offer that other people don't. So I'm like, I just want to go. Now I'm nearing 40 and I'm like, bro, I just got to make everything worth it. Every single day worth it. So I do wake up very early, but the main reason I do that is because I don't want to be bothered from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning. I want to read my books. I want to empty my inbox. I want to go through, I watch your videos. I watch Jerry Norton's videos.
So that's when you start watching videos in the morning?
Yeah, I'm answering emails on one screen and listening to you and other people on the other. Yeah. So I'm doubling, I'm tripling, I'm quadrupling my efforts every single minute of my day. And then I think that I'm talented in the sense that I can remember things. Like I'm not a note taker.
Right.
I just remember things.
Yeah.
So God bless me with some amazing stuff there. And then I have an amazing team. I train my people. I go, your job is to tell me every day that I shouldn't be involved in anything in the business. And if you have to ask me a question, then step one of your job is never go to Pace for anything.
Yeah.
So if you have to come to me, that means we haven't put systems and processes in place. So sometimes I forget that I own businesses. It's weird. It's really weird. I haven't been to my office. So we have an office in Mesa, and then I have an office in Phoenix. We have hundreds of employees between the two. And I haven't been to both of them, except for one of them. We have an event space, so we do events. Jamil and I do an event there every month. I haven't been inside the actual office since last year's Christmas party. Literally. I don't go in. I'm not dealing with any of that stuff. It's just go and raise capital, go do deals. And I literally just get to go do all the fun things that I want to do.
So it sounds to me like your main, like, I guess, work-related things are go do deals.
Find new opportunities, find new businesses, pass them on to an operator.
Okay, so deals,
right?
Whether
deals,
it's real estate, business, whatever. Look for new deals.
Yep.
Zoom calls with the students.
Yep. That's where I find my peace. Everything else is work.
Okay. And then that's really it. Like it's just, and then content would be the work, right?
Content,
so those three things probably take up the majority of your work. Yeah.
I'm at a point now where the only time I'm involved in a real estate deal is when it's like a high level problem. Like seller needs to seller finance this 50 unit multifamily deal and we don't know how to structure the taxes. So I come in and I get involved.
Right.
That's once a month, maybe for an hour. But guess what I'm doing? I'm filming it.
Yeah.
I don't do anything unless there's a camera on me.
Right.
If somebody calls me, I have people call me all the time and it stresses me out when they go, I need help right now and I don't have a camera guy by me. I go, I can't help you. And they go, what do you mean you can't help me?
I need to double down.
I have to use my efforts. The law of duality is what I call it. If I'm not doing two things at the same time, like right now we're doing 5 things at the same time. You and I are building rapport with each other, deepening our relationship. We're creating content, helping other people. Also, I hope to promote Tykes event because I want to see you guys there. If you guys are at the Tykes event, come talk to me. That's what I freaking love too. I love going to events and I'm never the guy in the green room. I'm always the guy in the hallway and I freaking meet everybody. I love that. Anyway, but the law of duality, I don't do anything unless I'm doing 2 things at the same time.
Yeah.
And so it looks like I have a lot more going on. I will never make a call to my attorney without it being recorded. I will never talk to Molly on my team, my business manager, unless it's being recorded. Literally, I just hired a full-time guy named Jose. Jose's job is to film me 8 hours a day.
How does that go with filming the TV show? Do you film you filming the TV show?
We try. I got a call. So we had Grant and Elena on the TV show a couple of months ago, and they were on set, and my camera guy was like getting B-roll of us on set. And then it found its way on my YouTube channel. And season 2 hasn't premiered yet. Season 2 premiere is this Saturday. And A&E calls me up and they're like, take that YouTube channel or video down right now, blah, 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 blah. They were nice about it, but they were freaking pissed off because what it did is it showed Grant doing something called wild lines, okay? So a wild line is like where Grant says something when the camera's rolling, but it doesn't mesh properly in the timing of like maybe somebody stepped on his line or something happened. So what they do is they go, okay, we'll find a shot where it just is the back of his head and we'll throw audio on top of him and we call it a wild line. So it basically creates the illusion that he said the right thing.
Right, okay.
And so they tell him the wild lines to read. They give him a list.
Okay.
And so my guy was B-rolling this whole thing and Grant's sitting here reading the lines and saying it.
It's just like the fake TV stuff.
It's like all the fake TV stuff. And my team freaking puts it on the YouTube channel and A&E watches everything I do.
Yeah.
And it was 2 minutes on the YouTube channel, I get a call. And I'm like, okay, so now Jose's not, when I'm filming, Jose's not over there. Eric's not over there. And so they know like, they'll follow me to set and they'll do B-roll of me walking onto set. But outside of that, they're not allowed on set.
Got it.
I've violated that rule too many times.
They're like, dude, no duality over here.
No
You
duality.
focus on the TV show.
But what's funny is like when they're ready, like this week we have the premiere. Now they're like, talk about it, talk about the show, talk about the show, talk about the show. I'm like, guys, I could have been talking about it for 6 months.
Yeah.
And the only thing you let me do are like little snapshots. I'm not even allowed to have my phone. So like it's antiquated. It's an antiquated model. It's like a title and escrow business. It's like,
you know, Grant, he was at my office like a month ago.
Yeah.
And we were filming his show.
Yeah.
And he was talking about that. He was like, dude, when I was filming with Discovery, everything they do, it's so backwards.
Yeah, it's like 30-year-old technology.
Yeah.
And like
he's
the way
like, they won't let me talk about it. I tell them to do this. I'm like, this is what's going to get it attention, but you don't want to listen.
How are people going to, like, it's almost like we can't talk about Tykes Summit until Tykes is live.
Yeah.
That's literally how bad it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how would people show up and how do people watch the show? Like, well, they'll know.
They'll know in like the day before.
Yeah. So what they want us to do is they want us to, when the show goes live and go, hey, hurry, go watch the shows live. It's like, guys, people are busy.
Yeah. Why didn't we just prep them?
Right. So it's an interesting world and it is amazing. It's opened up a lot of doors, but the balance I have, I'm very lucky. So when I got the show came to me. How did I get the show, by the way? Do you know?
No.
YouTube channel. I had 5,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, guys, and I got a freaking TV show. So like people that don't understand content, you don't realize how powerful it really is. 5,000 YouTube subscribers. I posted a video of me walking through a hoarder house and I called all my students. I go, who wants to come and walk this property with me? And I had 30 people show up to this property. We walked this thing and A&E is like, we love that you brought the audience into your YouTube channel. Do you want to do a TV show like that? I go, yes. And now our TV show is nothing like that, but that was the original thought. So I go, yeah, that's all I want to do. I want to include everybody. I want to be all inclusive. I want everybody be involved in everything. But that's how we got the TV show. And can you freaking believe I got a TV show off a 5,000 subscriber YouTube channel?
They don't care. They're just like,
right. So they come to me, we start negotiating and they go, who else would you like to have on the show? And by that time I'd already called Jamil. I go, hey, we got a TV show. And I go, my wife, I'm not doing this without my wife. And they go, done. Is she doing a lot of listings for you? I go, yeah, she does my flips and she does whatever. And they go, okay, great. And they didn't pay her for the first season. Because they were like, we're not sure about this. So I didn't pay her for the first season. She crushed it. She did incredibly well. Now she's paid just as much as I am. And Jamil brought Rahima in. And that was not the original intention of the show. The original intention was just Jamil and I, two competitors in Phoenix, competing over the same deals and then flipping them together and saying, let's not fight on this deal. Let's just do it together. And then we were like, no, we need more women representation. And I want to bring my wife in. And I told them, I go, guys, I can't balance any more work without my wife involved.
Right.
So I get to spend 20, 30 hours a week with my wife on set half the year. And so I spend more time with my wife than most people get to spend with their wife.
Yeah, because you guys are working together.
We're working together and there's a lot of dead time. And you guys know this, like you guys are setting up shots all the time, switching out lenses, right? Cameras, blah, 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 blah. Let's get the lighting, da, da, da. So I get to hang out with my wife and talk with my kids. My kids are on set. So I get to spend so much time with them.
Are you homeschooling them?
We're going to, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old now.
Yeah.
My 14-year-old is not my biological son, so I have no decision-making abilities, but I will never let my kids go into a public school.
Yeah. Well, especially too, just with lifestyle.
Bro, it's impossible.
It's impossible.
I have to drop you off at this time. I have to pick you up at this time.
Yeah.
I'm married to this, and there's a PTA conference, and and the PTA conference gets canceled the day. We had this thing with Asher like a year ago, where I go to drop. He has a parent-teacher conference, and Laura's like, it would really mean the world to me if you were there. I go, I'll be there. I canceled 2 speaking engagements to go to this parent-teacher conference, and then they cancel it on me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, no offense to you guys, but this is not going to work for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be dictated. My life will not be dictated by your guys' like little mindsets.
Yeah.
What about you guys? You guys going homeschool?
Well, it's funny because if you watch my YouTube channel like 2 years ago, my wife and I were like, we'll never homeschool, freaking, blah, blah, blah. You guys, it's still up. Anyone wants to.
It's because we all used to assume homeschoolers were freaking weird.
Right. And now, a couple of things. Well, one, I grew up in public school. My wife was a public school teacher. So we were all cool with public school. Well, as I got more famous, I'm like, all right, we'll send them to private school.
Right.
And now the way I see it, when I see other entrepreneurs like homeschooling, not because of like necessarily the ideology, which also, like you mentioned, sucks too.
Yeah.
But just like the lifestyle portion of it,
It's impossible.
Yeah, dude, if I'm trying to travel and grow, and I want to hang out with my kids more, and I'm just not going to have a school tell me when we can go on vacation. That's dumb.
You can take your kids to the office. Like, hey, like my daughter, I take her everywhere. Take her to speaking engagements. She flies across the country with me. It's like, I never want that to stop. I want to be able to hang out with my kids as much as possible. I see like Heather Torres from Think Media. You're friends with all them.
Well, Heather and Isaiah have been telling us to do it.
Yeah.
And she's like, let me talk to Mindy. And then we're going to go to dinner together, but just one day out of the blue, because I just floated to Mindy because she didn't want to do it. She's like, I don't want to.
The soft approach.
Yeah, I'm like,
it was a bunt.
Yeah, homeschool would kind of be cool in this way. I know that we've been against it, but
I had to do the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
My wife, we have a nanny now. 2 years ago, we finally
we just got a nanny about
it's a mindset
4
thing
or 5
too.
months ago.
Should have gotten one 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a mindset thing. You had the money for it. It was a mindset thing.
Yeah.
And usually it's for your wife has a mindset thing. Like, no, I need to do all the things.
Yeah, that's how Mindy was.
That's how it was with Laura too. So we hire Jerry Norton by his house, and I go, yo, I need your landscaper. I need your pool guy. He goes, do you want my nanny too? I go, yes, I want your nanny. So we got Delaney. Shout out Delaney. She's amazing. And I met their whole family, and they have like 7 kids, LDS family. And so now we get to use the kids whenever we need. And they're all homeschooled, and they're freaking not weird. In fact, they're freaking cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, babe, like, look at these people. They're regular human beings. This whole belief that they become lizards when they're homeschooled is not real. And so I think it's just recent things.
And I think too, like that probably was true 20, 30 years ago.
Sure.
But today, I think you're going to see homeschool as like a very normal choice, like for just normal people too, where they're like, dude, I'd rather my kids just learn from YouTube than deal with.
That's what Heather's doing. Like she's getting her kids in classes and courses. Her kids were like watching my course.
Dude, I mean, it's better. You'll learn way more.
How to balance your checkbook, how to put your LLC together, how to do this. Like, what is an LLC? Why do I need an LLC? Why should it? But all these things you don't learn until you're like 25 and you've ran your business incorrectly for 4 years ago. Oh, wait.
Where's all my money? Why am I broke? I don't get it.
Exactly.
I thought I made all this money.
Exactly. So Heather's right. And so I had a conversation with Heather last time you and I saw each other was at Sean Cannell's event.
Yep.
And she told me the same thing. She's like, you got to get on the wagon, dude. And I went home and I go, I talked to Heather, sweetheart. I think we're going to move forward with this. And she's like, all right, I'm on board.
Shout out to Heather. Heather,
shout out.
Yeah, we're going to.
And Jerry Norton's been doing it for a long time. They have 10 kids. They're all homeschooled.
Yes.
10 freaking kids. He has 10 success stories.
Well, if you have 10 kids though, I think at that point you have an entire classroom.
Yes.
Like and he has a classroom in his house.
Yes. I turned it into a playroom. There's like a pool table and like a pinball machine and stuff. I'm like, we don't need a classroom in here. So, but yeah, they had a legit classroom in the house.
Well, bro, we got to go to Cardone's dinner right now. So we're actually late. So
I saw Jamil calling us. He's like, where are you guys?
yeah. So dude, appreciate you coming back on the show.
I can't wait for January, brother. For anybody that's thinking about coming to Tykes, come out. I'll be out there all 4 days. I'll be at the Tykes boardroom hanging out with all the boardroom members. And then for the following 3 days, I'll be in the hallway meeting everybody. You guys have questions about real estate, raising capital. You have questions about marriage, anything, come meet me. I will be in the hallway the whole time. I'm only speaking one time.
Yeah.
But I'll be in the hallway the whole freaking time meeting everybody till my voice is sore. So I'll see you guys at Tykes.
Perfect, dude. All right, guys.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate
you, bro. All right, guys. Make sure you comment. Make sure you go follow Pace, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that podcast. Thanks for making it to the end. The good news is I've got another one that I know you're going to like, and all you got to do is click it right here. Linking it right here. All you got to do is just click it, and you're going to see this new episode that you're going to love.